Okay, welcome everyone to this Civic Licensing Committee on Thursday the 10th of November 2022. If we start with item 1, apologies for absence. Do we have any apologies?
Yes, Convener, there's apologies from Councillor Brenda Darnell.
Thank you very much. Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations? No. Item 3, previous minutes. These are the minutes of the 15th and the 29th September 22. Can we agree these as a true record?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 4, delegated approvals. This is report 372 of 22. I'll just get to it. It's recommended that the committee note the licence is granted or renewed under delegated authority as outlined at the attached appendix. Are there any questions on this report? Any comments? Do we agree?
Agreed.
Do we agree to note these?
Agreed.
Agreed. Thank you very much. Catching up over papers. That takes us on to item 5. Application to transfer a residential caravan site licence, Woodley Caravan Park at Broth, report number 374/22. In this one, we are asked the recommendation after consent to the transfer of the licence or determine that the committee is considering refusing to consent to the transfer of the licence, in which case notice must be given to the applicant stating that the licensing authority is considering refusing the application and its reasons for doing so, and the applicant has the right to make written representations to the authority before the date which is specified in the notice, such date to be at least 20 days after the date on which the notice is given. That was probably slightly different, because if we plan to do something, then the applicant has to be notified that and has a right to come back to us about that. So, are there any questions? Oh, sorry, we have
sorry. We've got Miss Paul in the meeting. She's the agent from Savills. This is the application that I previously sent out pictures to committee members in advance of the meeting, and I believe that Miss Paul would like to address the committee.
Okay, welcome, Miss Paul. Thank you for attending. Would you like to talk to the application?
Yes, thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Ailey Paul, and I'm a senior planner in the planning team at Savills and represent the applicant Lido Leisure Park. By way of context and introduction, the applicant Lido Leisure Park forms part of a wider parent company named Meridian Parks, who currently operate 13 holiday parks across the north of England and the Scottish borders. The company has expanded its portfolio considerably over the last 2 years, purchasing parks in West Yorkshire, the North York Moors, Northumberland, and most recently Woodley Hall in Arbroath, which was purchased earlier this year. Mr. Frank Maguire, who is listed as applicant, is the director of the company and is actively involved in the day-to-day running and works of the parks and their maintenance. Savills have represented both Lido Leisure Park and Meridian Parks more generally on a range of planning and licensing matters. The application before you today is simply to transfer the licence from the prior owner to that of our client, Lido Leisure Park. The planning history which underpins the licence is long established via planning consent in 2007 and certificate of lawful use in 2019. If any changes to planning or licensing as established were necessary in due course, this would be applied for separately, but the licence transfer represents the starting point for our client. In this instance, the consent is for up to 7 months, which can be operational for a 12-month period, which is subsequently reflected in the current licence for 31 static holiday caravan and 43 residential pitches. For clarity, there are no proposed amendments to the licence as part of this application, other than its transfer from the prior owner to our client. We've been asked to represent the applicant today to provide comfort that the new owners of the park have the best intentions for Woodley Hall Caravan Park, should they be granted transfer, and would operate the park within the terms of the licence. There have been no objections to the transfer from consultees in environmental health or housing. However, we've noted comments from environmental health regarding the current state of the site as mothballed and overgrown and not in compliance with the licence at present, but noting that the site is due an overhaul early next year. To provide further comment on this, the applicant has not yet started any meaningful work on site without confirmation that they have the benefit of the licence. But as suggested by Environmental Health, it is intended to remove any caravans that are in a state of disrepair and address the requirements of the infrastructure and landscaping as required by the terms of the licence. In advance of this meeting, Savills have provided officers and the committee with photographs of a range of holiday and residential sites within the Meridian Parks portfolio, inclusive of Lido Leisure Park in Knaresborough and Coburnspath in the Scottish Borders. This was to demonstrate not only the meticulous approach to management and maintenance on the parks to create a character reflective of the upper quartile of the market, but also the consistency across all parks and the brand identity, which would also be applied to Woodley Hall in due course via the installation of new road pitch infrastructure as well as soft landscaping. The vision for the park represents a stark transformation from its current form. With regard to residential amenity, each of the current parks are subject to strict park rules, which are applied to ensure a quiet and family-friendly park. In short, the applicants are well placed to take the site forward, invest in our growth, and deliver a well-run and attractive park. Evidence within the 2019 Economic Benefit Report, Holiday Parks and Campsites in the UK, concluded that static caravans on average result in a daily spend of £36 within a local economy. For 31 static caravans, this has the potential to equate to approximately £1,000 per day. Many thanks again for the opportunity to address the committee this morning, and in order to enable a fresh start for the park, we respectfully request that consent is granted to transfer the licence to our client. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Ms Paul. Can I ask board members if they have any questions? Councillor Whiteside.
Thank you, Convener. Thank you, Ms Paul, for your presentation. It seems quite clear that the park is in need of some investment, and that's obviously what your client's planning to do. Have they got a timescale for necessary work?
Well, they're planning to start it sort of as soon as possible. Just with having the benefit of the license, would allow them to do that. In terms of a timescale for starting, it's sort of early 2023, so quarter one of next year is when they would look to make a start on the work that's needed.
Okay, is that with the intention of having it fully operational for the summer season?
I'd imagine that is the client's intention. Yeah, it's to get it done as soon as possible.
Okay.
Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks, Ailey, for your excellent presentation. As somebody that's managed caravan parks in my past, both in the West Coast and across here, I'm really very pleased to see your addressing of things that would be a concern to me. My colleague has mentioned one of them, and you mentioned yourself about the environmental health and consumer protection, the amount of investigation they were asking about. Because when a park is left for a while, it does take quite some time to get it up and running. I also was very keen and interested to see your pictures of what your client is already doing. So very happy to see that. And because I've got not an interest that I would have to declare, because it's nothing to do with that, it's my past and managed parks, and know exactly what you have to do to get them viable. And I was interested to see that, did I pick you up right when you said that the parks would be open to people 12 months of the year?
That's right, yeah, just in line with the current licence, yes.
I did read that, and I just wanted to make sure that that was the case, because obviously we have to make sure that things are good all the year round.
Yes.
You need sometimes to make adjustments and things in the shoulder months, but not everybody will be staying on the park for 12 months, so you've assured me of that, and I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councillor Braids.
Yes, just to thank Ailey for a very helpful presentation, very clear and concise, and the pictures are most helpful too. Thanks.
Are there any other comments? With that, and listening to the comments, I think I would like to move that we approve the transfer.
Agreed.
Do people agree?
Agreed.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Paul. You're free to leave the meeting should you wish. Sorry.
Excuse me, convener. I'm sorry to interrupt. I wonder if it's possible just to clarify with regard to the timing of the transfer of the ownership of the site.
And who do you want to clarify that with?
Ms. Paul?
Is that when our client bought the site?
Yes,
Question.
yes,
If
if possible.
Yeah, it was earlier this year. I don't have the exact date to hand, but I can find that and send that over if it's useful. But it was earlier this year.
Thank you. Yes, might I suggest to members that if they're minded to grant this, that it is granted as at the date that the transfer took place in line with the legislation. Thank you.
Are we agreed with that clarification?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Ms. Paul.
Thank you.
Good luck.
We move on to agenda item number 6, report 374 of 22, which is late hours catering license exemption application. Now, in this, there are 3 recommendations. Recommendation 1, accept the letter received from Cross-Chalk Solicitors on behalf of their client, William Morrison Supermarkets, dated 27th of October 2002, as an application for exemption from the requirement to hold late hours catering licenses. I think that is because there isn't actually an application form, so we can accept any form, I suppose, as an application. 2, determine whether to grant the application to William Morrison Supermarkets for exemption from the requirement to hold a late hours licence for Morrison's petrol filling station, Hume Street, Arbroath, between 2300 hours and 0000 hours from Thursday the 22nd of December to Friday the 23rd of December inclusive. And 3, if it is agreed to grant the application, impose Angus Council's late hours catering conditions attached to Appendix 2. Subject the words licence holder being replaced with applicant, and B, the word licence where otherwise appearing being replaced with the word exemption. Is there anyone here to talk to this application?
No, convener. I think I'd sent out written representations earlier. I think the same one with photos. This application has been up in past years, and it's just a written representation asking for the extension.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions on this application? Are there any comments? Councillor Gregg.
Thank you, convener. I just wanted to clarify in the recommendations in part 2 that between the hours of 11 p.m. and midnight from Thursday the 22nd of December 2022 to Friday the 23rd of December 2022, so for one day.
Fiona, yeah?
That's correct, convener. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, with that, if we move to the recommendations, can we agree to accept the letter received from Cross-Chalk Solicitors as an application for exemption?
Agreed.
Have we agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
2, agreed to grant the application for the exemption from the requirement to hold the late catering licence. Are we agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
And 3, to include to make it subject to the words license holder being replaced with applicant, and B, the word license where otherwise appearing being replaced with the word exemption. Have we agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Okay, thank you all very much. We move now to I think now we move to the exclusion of public and press. Am I correct on that, Fiona?
Yes, that's correct. Convener, we're asking, just note that the public and press will be excluded. These next reports are confidential and therefore any public and press should be excluded from the meeting.
Are members agreed?
Agreed.
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 If we can
Okay, if we stop the live stream.